Hi everyone, my name is John Meyer and I'm putting together a quick video on how to build an AWS VPC from scratch. Now we all know we can use the deployment wizard to build it, but you really don't understand everything that goes into it or that gets tied together when you build one from scratch in order to troubleshoot it. So let's begin. First, I'm going to do a couple of disclaimers here. I'm doing this post completely on my own just to try to help everybody out and give them something to view during this tough time. Now, I'm not completely set up for recordings. I do have my whiteboard. You see a little bit of glare here, so I apologize for some of it. Let me start off. This is my AWS environment. I hope everybody likes it. It took a tough time to enroll. The first thing that I'm going to talk about is an AWS VPC and what it is. What is a VPC? It's a virtual private cloud, and it's virtual network dedicated to your AWS account. It's logically isolated from other virtual networks in the AWS cloud. You can launch your AWS resources, such as Amazon EC2 Instances, into your VPC. You can specify an IPS range for the VPC, add subnets, associate security groups, and configure route tables. Amazon Virtual Private Cloud enables you to launch AWS resources into your virtual network that you define. This network closely resembles a traditional network that you operate in your own data center with the benefits of using scalable infrastructure of AWS. Now, let's go ahead and build our VPC. I've logged into my AWS Management Console. You can look for recently visited services or scroll down to the networking section. And we're going to select on VPC. I'm working in the Ohio region, which is US East 2, and if you notice, I don't really have anything associated to my region. I could launch a VPC, starting here using a wizard, or if I click on VPCs, I'm going to click Create VPC. Give my name of a VPC. I need to provide an IP CIDR block. For this, I'm just going to use a traditional one of 10.0.0.0/16. I'm not selecting IPv version 6. And the default tendency, I'm just going to leave it go. I'm not going to make any changes. Go ahead and click Create. Now that we have our VPC, let's take a look at a couple of things that we get with it by default. All right, we have a NACL. I'm not really going to talk about NACLs in detail during this video because it's going to be a really short video as well. We have our DHCP option set, basically our DNS settings, and our route table. I will talk about the route table because we're going to be playing with that a little bit today. Let's look at the default route table that's provided with us. What you'll see here is the main route table that is associated with the VPC. If you look at routes, you're going to notice that the CIDR block that we built our VPC is in here by default and is a local target. That means anything within this route table or in that VPC can communicate with each other. So it's completely open internally. You can isolate this and lock it down. Subnets, we haven't built any subnets. We don't know about any subnets, so we haven't associated with it. Next thing I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to draw our VPC. This is going to take me some time. I am not an artist by trade, so please forgive my crude design here. All right, now I got my VPC. The next thing I'd like to draw is our main route table. I'm going to say this is my main. The reason I'm drawing it out is so you guys can see everything that goes into it. All right, /16, we're going to say that is local. Perfect. Now, let's talk about building the rest of our VPC out using subnets. All right, so why do we need a subnet? Well, think about it. Where are you deploying out these resources to? Are you going to try to deploy them out to a VPC? Well, we don't have any isolations or network isolations to deploy it out to. An example of that here is if I look at and I come back and I want to deploy out an EC2 instance, and I'm just going to walk through this real quick. I have no running instances. We can say launch an instance, and we'll come down here. We'll pick out our Amazon Linux AMI. We'll stay on the free tier. Now look at that. There's no subnets found. I cannot deploy out to a VPC in general. Just can't sit out there and float for that one. So now let's just come back here and create our VPC. Now let's come back here and create our subnets for our VPC. So I'm going to come back into the VPC. I'm going to say subnets. I'm going to create 4 subnets. I'm going to create 2 private and 2 public subnets. And why don't we go through those? I'm going to label them correctly. You're going to see as we walk through it and how we utilize them. So we'll create that. We have 1 subnet. Always name your subnet. 4. This is not a networking class. I'm not really going to go into why I chose a /24. I am not a networking major on that. What's next? Let's create 2 EC2 instances. We're going to put 1 in a private subnet and then 1 in a public subnet. Let's come back to our AWS. We'll say EC2. Launch an instance here. I'm going to give both of them elastic IP addresses. I want to show you a couple of things. Typically for your private, you would not give it an elastic IP address. All right, so that we're going to select our first one as a public subnet in 2A. I'm going to enable it so I get an IP address. I don't need storage. I will add a tag. This will be name of AWS public instance. Now we put this in a public. Configure security groups. For right now, I'm going to leave it open. Typically, you would do this to just your private IP address. I don't want to display mine on the screen. I'm going to say AWS public SG. I don't feel like cleaning up the video for when it is displayed. Review and launch, then launch. I have created an AWS test key pair, and I'm going to acknowledge that I'm going to launch my instance. Now, we can go ahead and view the instance. I'm going to bypass that screen. I'm going to launch another one, get that one rolling. We're going to call this one private then. We'll use the free tier. We're going to do private 1 subnet. Give me an IP. Great. And now we're launching it. I have my 2 instances. Cool. All right, so now it's time to update our drawing here on the board. And what we did is we created our 4 subnets into 2 availability zones, US 2A and 2B, and that is in East. So I'm gonna show you my, I'll use black, okay, here, and we're just gonna do it like this, and remind you that availability zones span more than the actual VPC, but I'm trying to keep it inside the box here. All right, so there's one availability zone. And my little drawing. All right, there's my next availability zone. All right, cool. Now we have 4 VPCs. Cool. Now we have 4 subnets. And let's draw my subnet here. This is one subnet. Here's my other subnet. And then another one. Okay. So we'll write on here. And this is how I'm logically thinking about it. This is going to be public. And this is private. And we'll just draw a little imaginary line here, thinking this is how we're splitting everything up. We also deployed out an EC2 instance. So we'll just draw our lovely little instance here, and we have another one here, and they have their EIPs. Awesome. That looks pretty good. I'm sure I'll get some corrections along the way.